Good morning. So today I have kind of a different video here for you all. I want to talk about Barnes & Noble. And I'm trying to keep this from being a rant video, but I definitely have some criticisms of the chain. I love Barnes & Noble. I always have. I've found it, that's always been like a place that I've always tried to frequent, especially when I started to get into reading years ago. It's really gone downhill though, really has. I know the history when I was doing some research and watching some videos about kind of where it's headed and where it has been. I mean, obviously, in 2008, it started losing money. It's lost money. All the way to 2020. It did turn around in 2021 because in 2019, during the pandemic, they hired a new CEO in James Dunt, I believe is his name. He was the guy that turned around Waterstone, which is a book selling company in, I think it's England. He's done some good things, but the store in itself, it's still riddled with problems. Why? So I'm going to get into like kind of a list of why I dislike it, and I'm going to try to be succinct and not go on these tangents and get on my soapbox. But one thing I don't like is this push to trade paperback. I like mass market paperback, and it seems like Barnes & Noble is pushing for trade paperback, which, go in and buy a $200 paperback book, or excuse me, a 200-page paperback book that costs $20 is just absolutely ridiculous. That's one thing I don't like. The last time I was in the one that's close to me, the mass market paperback selection is like one long, maybe call it two shelves, and you get maybe 2 or 3 books from an author that's published 30, and it's crazy. And it's in the back of the book by the kids section, which is, it's unbelievable. I don't like the fact that everything's tchotchkes and toys and journals and crap that I don't care about. It just takes up floor space that could be for more books. I mean, it's crazy. The bargain books are really kind of hit and miss. It used to be you can go in and find like overruns on the latest releases of hardback books. You can get them severely marked down because they had too many and they want to get rid of, them, a month or two after release. And now you can't find those. It's all ridiculous reference books and journals and crap that I don't want. The selection's terrible. Like I said, you go in looking, I always go in looking for specific books when I go to Barnes & Noble. I don't browse anymore. I only browse when I go to used bookstores because then I feel like I can browse because of the price point. When I go into Barnes & Noble, I'm going in specifically with the list because I've researched, what books I want to get. And I've been looking at, and Barnes & Noble is the last resort because I've been looking on used bookstores for those books that I want to get, and I can't find them in whatever format or whatever type or condition that I want. And then I go to Barnes & Noble as a last resort. So I go in with a specific list. Well, you go in and look at an author that's published 25, 30 books, and guess what? They have a selection of 2 or 3. It's ridiculous. Even with memberships that they push on you, even with deals and sales, the books are just priced astronomically. And I get there's inflation and everything going on. But it's just, I don't know why I want to go in and buy a hardback book at $30. That's even after my discount. When I can buy like 6 books at a used bookstore for that price. It just doesn't make any sense. So most of the time I wait for books to come out in paperback. There's some books back here I have in my collection where I have them in hardback, and mainly the ones I have in hardback that I care about being in hardback are Stephen King books. The other books back here, like the John Sanford books, I have a bunch of hardback in it. I got them at used bookstores. I got them for half. I get 2 of those hardbacks for the price I can buy one brand new mass market paperback in Barnes & Noble. So I mean, that was a steal. Lastly, I mean, I go into Barnes and Noble. I'm not a guy that wants to spend 2 hours shopping. So I go in with a list. I find what I want. I browse maybe a little bit, not much. I usually browse only at the bargain area, but the last 5 times I think I've done it, there's been nothing of interest, not even close to interest. And then I go to check out because I want to get there. I want to do what I want to do, and I want to get home. It's like going to Walmart. There's like one person checking out, and there's a line every time. I mean, it's like a Walmart. And I get it, like there's people back there helping people, but again, their business model is the minimal amount of labor to, answer questions, help people, and restock shelves or do whatever, and one person checking, everyone out. It's crazy. Like, it makes no sense. Like, it's like that. The experience overall is getting to the point where I'm just not even wanting to go. I'd rather just do my stuff online, which is kind of the premise of what has hurt Barnes & Noble the last couple decades is Amazon. And so it's one of those things, like it's like a vicious circle for them. I really think they need to make some changes and some further changes. They say that, they're doing that and they're launching more stores and things have turned around financially and they're in a better position to move and spend capital money expanding their brand and rebranding the stores and trying to make them more user-friendly. And they want people to go in and shop and browse and all that, but I just don't see it. Again, the one store I'm at, I haven't seen those changes. It's still riddled with toys and tchotchkes and stuff I don't care about, which is so much floor space they could be putting books in there. But anyways, that's my video. Barnes & Noble. I'm really starting to be so torn on them. It was one of my favorite stores, and now it's just not anymore. I'd like to say that now is the time for used booksellers to rise, because I definitely think that the novelty of going in and browsing and spending time going through just stacks and stacks of thousands and thousands of books, slightly used, I think that's great. I definitely feel like that is the way to go. And I'm hoping that these used booksellers are able to get through some of these tough times with inflation and post-pandemic, that they stay in business, because we definitely need them as bookworms. So that's my video. Kind of wanted to do kind of just a informal thoughts video about Barnes & Noble. Hope you enjoy this. If you have any other ideas for content, feel free to drop a comment. Hope you're having a great day. Thanks.